Now it's time to find out about the latest trends in Korean culture with our reporter Yoon Se-young for Trend Vibes. Welcome aboard, Se-young.
Hi, Hello, I'm Yoon Se-young, and I'm thrilled to be part of this new exciting culture show, Culture Wave. And I'm very much looking forward to having so much fun with you guys, Hoa and Bella, and of course with our viewers from now on.
We're very much looking forward to that as well. And because today is your first day of the segment, can you introduce your segment?
Sure. This segment is titled Trend Vibes, and in Trend Vibes, we are going to satisfy all your curiosity about Korean culture. And we will first start diving into the hottest topics in Korea's culture scene and take a close look at how these cultural trends are influencing Korean society and how far this impact reaches the Korean society as well. So please think of me as your personal culture tutor.
Nice. So, Tutor Se-young, what is our first topic?
Well, our very first keyword is artificial intelligence and music.
And music.
Yes, and let's kick things off with the story of NavVis, SM Entertainment's first ever virtual artist. She made her debut this past September with the song Dawn. And if you're a fan of four-member girl group aespa, you might be already familiar with NavVis. And that's because of her background. In aespa's universe, NavVis is a helper who opens the gateway between the digital and real worlds. And she even featured one of the aespa's music, Welcome to My World.
Oh, so is this similar to the virtual group Plave that's gaining a lot of popularity these days?
Well, there's a clear difference between the two because Plave is not based on AI. There are real human members behind these digital characters, but NavVis is entirely based on AI, and Hype Cindy 8 and Metaverse Entertainment may also fall in this category. And speaking of Plave, this five-member virtual boy group created by the start of Lost has been rewriting history ever since it made a debut early this year by claiming the top spot of music streaming platforms or even music shows as well.
So that is really a remarkable achievement. Yes. Then I wonder if there's a growing number of cases where AI is used to create new musicians. What about AI used by existing human singers, for instance?
Well, these days AI is also being used in K-pop idols' music videos. For example, 17 used AI technologies for its teaser of Maestro, and aespa Supernova is another example. And although there were some flaws, a lot of people loved it because it elevated the qualities of the music video to new heights.
It looks like AI and the music world is, making it music world abundant.
Sure, but it's not always sunshine and rainbows because a lot of artists are feeling conflicted with AI technologies. These days, even ordinary people are using AI technology to compose music and write lyrics. And if you look on YouTube, you can find plenty of cover songs where AI mimics the voices of famous singers, and you can't really tell the difference, right? And copyright issues are surrounding those AI-generated contents are rising for that reason. And unfortunately, as of now, there aren't any clear legal guidelines for this. So I guess for the time being, this kind of issues will be raised for the time being. Yeah.
So on top of the existing copyright issues that we have, for instance, regarding choreographies, we just talked about that earlier this week, and also lyrics and other music-related stuff, we have these existing copyright issues between human beings. But then with the arrival of AI, this is going to be an even more complicated issue which needs more discussions. But Se-young, what is our next topic?
Well, next topic is the ongoing craze for cooking shows. Yes, and we can't talk about cooking shows without mentioning the cooking survival show, Culinary Class Words, or Hukbaek Yorisa in Korean. And like Bella already reported, the Culinary Class Words came to an end this past Tuesday. And Culinary Class Words, maybe you guys watched the final episode of
We did,
Culinary Class Words.
You too?
Yes, I did, of course. But for those of you who haven't watched it yet, I'm going to explain about the show without giving you spoilers for those of you who haven't watched the episode.
So all our viewers who haven't watched it yet, they can stay tuned, relieved.
Sure. And this show is all about the intense culinary battle between 80 highly skilled black spoon chefs who may not hold Michelin stars, but are recognized for their incredible cooking skills, with 20 white spoon chefs who are Korea's top celebrity chefs. According to a survey released on Tuesday, Culinary Class World's top Netflix non-English TV series category for 3 consecutive weeks, like Bella reported already. And it's the first time that K-entertainment show achieved this kind of performance on Netflix.
I'm definitely proud of this record as well. I also heard that some of the dishes that appeared on the show are selling as a product.
Yes, that's right. It seems like the stage for Culinary Class World is shifting to convenience stores. And actually, there was an episode on that centered around the convenience stores, right? Did you all watch it?
Yes, I in particular liked that one because
me too.
it really showed how you could use all of these pretty cheap ingredients to make such luxurious looking dishes.
Exactly. And I've heard that 2 convenience store franchises are currently working on special products in collaborating with the chefs featured on the show. And honestly, as a fan, I'm very looking forward to it already.
Very excited, yes.
This really is an excellent example of how a cooking show is creating synergy with another industry. And speaking of convenience stores, I think there's also another very popular local entertainment show that is related to convenience stores and cooking, right?
Yeah, so I think you're talking about KBS Funstrand.
Yes.
Funstrand, where the celebrities with real cooking talent compete as chef, is another example. And G Convenience Store teamed up with Funstrand to release 31 winning dishes. And by the end of September, their total accumulated sales had surpassed 50 billion Korean won. That is about $37 million. And it took just 1 year and 8 months to reach the milestone. And plus, part of the sales revenue is donated to help the underprivileged children, creating a heartwarming cycle of giving back to the community. And doesn't that just make you feel good?
It does. It's really heartwarming. Now, Seong, let's talk about a very final story now.
Sure. Before we dive into the final story, do you guys have your favorite K-pop idol?
Oh, there are so many. I would have to think about that a little bit. What about you, Bella?
I don't have a particular one right now that I could think of, but I used to be a huge fan of 어리다고 놀리지 말아요.
Girls' Generation.
It is.
Bella, do you know which generation they belong to? Girls' Generation?
Generation, meaning like millennials, Gen Z? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, not necessarily, but I'm going to explain more about the generation and K-pop idol industry. While the lines are not always clearly defined, groups debuting in 2023 are considered part of the 5th generation, and this includes groups like Zero Base One, Kiss of Life, and Nowadays.
So what is the first generation? And also, can you tell us what the criteria for this division is?
Sure. Idol groups in the form we know today began in the late 90s. So groups like H.O.T., Jack's Kids, Winkles, and SES are part of this first generation.
Oh, now we're talking. Now I remember what my favorite groups were.
Yes, and as for second generation idols, we've got TVXQ, Big Bang, Wonder Girls, and Girls' Generation as some of the major names. And moving on to the third generation idols, we have BTS leading the pack. EXO, Red Velvet, and Twice are also part of this generation. For fourth generation idols, we've got aespa, IVE, and NewJeans. And for the criteria for this division, some people say it's just for convenience. Some people say there are more concrete reasons because, for example, like first generation idols are trained more casually, whereas second generation idols develop under more structured training system. And by the time we hit third generation idols, they started to go beyond global, like beyond Asia and going global, including the US and Europe markets as well.
That's very interesting. Then what do people think about categorizing these groups by generations?
Well, some idol agencies are using these generational labels as part of their marketing strategies. And but this has received some negative feedback from the public. For example, fan fans are arguing that, our idol group represents a certain generation, and even the companies are claiming that, so-and-so from our agency opened the door to the 5th generation and so on. And this can feel a bit over the top. So there are some controversies. And recently, Girls' Generation's Hyoyeon made an interesting comment on this. She joked that it's funny how idol groups, unlike smartphones, are being divided into such specific generations. And I must say, I kind of agree with what she said.
I think that's why it is blended, that their group is called Girls' Generation.
Wow.
They will be the Girls' Generation forever.
Right.
So thank you very much, Seyoung, for those fun stories. We're looking forward to next week.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Bella, for today.
You're welcome.